Hello, my name is Mary Ratliff. I am with the Federal and State Grants Unit at the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. In this technical assistance recording, we'll review the programmatic guidelines regarding the Safe from the Start Notice of Funding Opportunity issued on March 14th, 2022. Some important dates to remember. First of all, the NOFO is posted on March 14th, 2022. It is required that you complete a notice of intent that is due April 4th, 2022. Any questions about the notice of funding opportunity? Deadline for submission of those questions are due on April 7th, 2022. Applications are due on Friday, April 15th, 2022. The ICEJA Budget Committee review and approval of recommended designations is on June 23rd, 2022. And our performance period is July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Safe from the Start is a program designated or designed, to assist in the development, implementation, and evaluation of comprehensive and coordinated community-based models to identify, assess, and serve children, primarily ages 0 to 5, who've been exposed to violence in their home or in the community. The Safe from the Start program model consists of 3 major components, being coalition and collaboration building, direct services, and public awareness. Applications funded through this renewal application must comply with the Safe from the Start program model. So just a little visual of the 3-pronged program model. We'll start with coalition. We have required partners and recommended partners. In the past, we have called them primary partners and secondary partners, but we've changed the wording to be required partners and recommended partners. Those lists of partners have not changed from years past. The coalition convenes and maintains the Safe from the Start model to ensure better collaboration among service providers by holding coalition meetings. We provide, in those coalition meetings, you should be providing ongoing education to coalition members through professional development trainings using the Safe from the Start modules or the model. The direct service component, so Safe from the Start serves young children, again, primarily from birth to 5 years old, who have been exposed to violence or witnessed violence in the home or in their community, either by their families or caregivers or what have you. Children older than 5 can also be served if the primary client is age 0 to 5. Sites must have a referral and outreach system that addresses confidentiality issues. They will also be required to enter information gathered from identified assessment tools into the database for analysis. In the public awareness component, this is to involve community members and increase public awareness. Incorporate community input into the planning process, educate residents about the scope of the problem. And these efforts can be done through community presentations or community events, professional trainings, media campaigns, or other methods of increasing awareness on this important topic. Eligible applicants for this notice of funding opportunity include public agencies and non-for-profit organizations located in Illinois. Only applicants with Safe from the Start programs established in state fiscal year 22 are eligible to apply, and services must be provided in Illinois. Program requirements are to first follow the Safe from the Start program model. This is described in the program design section of the Notice of Funding Opportunity Instructions. To comply with the evaluation protocol, hiring a program coordinator with Safe from the Start funds or other funds, attend in-person Safe from the Start coordinator meetings, and submit all quarterly and year-end reports. Our projected funding period is July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Within this notice of funding opportunity, it can be extended for an additional 24 months of funding, as long as the programmatic guidelines are followed and that there is funding available to do that. So as long as it's satisfactory performance of your grant, as well as that there's funding, we can extend that for 2 more years past this initial year of funding. Our award values, this depends on area. So the Safe from the Start programs that are in the Chicago area, this is mainly family focus, Metro Family Services. Should be Casa Central and Heartland, can receive $75,000. And the non-Chicago sites would receive $121,500. There are no match requirements for this grant. As I've mentioned before, a notice of intent is required, and it is due by April 4th, 2022. This actual site that you would go to complete the notice of intent is through a program called Qualtrics, and that address is in the notice of funding opportunity. A complete application packet includes a uniform application for state grant assistance. This is submitted in Word format. The program narrative is submitted also in Word format. And then we require the budget that includes a budget narrative, and that's submitted in Excel format. There are no signatures required on the application documents at that time. Therefore, they should not be signed in PDF. Again, the Word format should be for the uniform application, as well as the narrative, and then an Excel format for a budget and budget narrative. Again, our application materials can be found through our website. And this is the website to go through for funding. In the program narrative, please refer to the program requirements and read each question carefully. Use that scoring criteria listed in the notice of funding opportunity instructions as a guide when completing your response. It's best to have somebody review it, not just for typos, but to make sure that you've answered every part of the question. The program narrative should convey a need for the program, current efforts that have been made through past grants, and an understanding and implementation of the required program components. Do not go over the page limit. It is 25 pages, but you should use all the pages. You should have some detail in your responses to the questions. The page limit is 25 pages, and that includes the question as well as your response. There is a portion in the narrative document that has the question, and then there's a portion for your response. The budget must align with the program narrative. So it's important that when we review your application, your narrative, and your budget, that they all tie in together and make sense. All budget items should be allowable, reasonable, and necessary, and should include detailed information in that narrative section. Question and answers may be submitted to CJA, Safe from the Start Grants at illinois.gov. The deadline for questions will be on Thursday, April 7th, 2022 at 5 p.m. We'll talk a little bit about this later. I think it's actually on the next slide. But any substantive questions and answers are posted weekly. So we post those on Friday. And this is the actual website that you can go to find the questions and answers. Application due date is Friday, April 15th, 2022 at 5 p.m. We will not accept any late submissions. And application submissions should only go through this email address. So the CJA, Safe from the Start Grants at illinois.gov. This should have a .gov on it. I apologize. But this is the same email address that you would be submitting your questions ahead of time, and then you would submit all of your documents through this through this email address. We will not accept any faxed or mailed or physical copies of applications. Only applications that are submitted through this email address will be accepted. We encourage you to submit early rather than at the deadline, just in case there's any technical issues. It's always a good idea to get them in early, not at the last minute, just in case to make sure that the email did go through. We do send confirmation of any submissions of applications. Again, these are the important dates. The NOFO is posted on March 14th. The notice of intent is due on April 4th. That is required. Questions, the deadline for any questions would be April 7th. And then applications are due Friday, April 15th. Again, the ICJA Budget Committee reviews and approves designations on June 23rd, and our performance period is July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. This is a little bit about our review and funding process. ICJA staff do screen all applications for completeness. They are reviewed and scored by a team of internal and external reviewers and or program research and grant professionals. We give funding recommendations based on the scoring guidelines, and all of those are outlined in your notice of funding opportunity. And recommendations will be submitted to the Authority Budget Committee for approval before the start date being June 23rd. Scoring. So like we said before, each application is reviewed by 3 trained reviewers, and those scores are averaged. All applications can receive a maximum of 100 points for the program narrative and budget. Applicants that receive an average score below 70 will not be funded. And this is why it is important to review the notice of funding opportunity instructions, including, very importantly, that scoring criteria, reading the questions in the narrative completely and making sure you have answered those, as well as all the program requirements. Substantive questions and answers are posted weekly, updated each Friday, and that is again on our website. And any contact information, this is my contact information, but again, no emails to my work email will be accepted. If you want to contact me, you must use this email address, the cja.safefromthestartgrants@illinois.gov. We look forward to reading your applications and answer any questions you might have.